What's going on, collectors? Optical 20 here for another video review. This time it's Deadshot from Suicide Squad, and you can purchase this figure at bigbadtoystore.com. Just please click the link on the description. It's still available. As you can see here, we'll start off with a box. As I mentioned earlier, I really dig the Suicide Squad line when it comes to their art boxes. It's artistic, you know. I think they have a lot of. I don't know if you've seen the Thor Road Warren version. I believe that was a terrible box, and you know, it's a box. At the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. But you know, if you're paying this much, then you might as well, you know, find it a little bit pleasing, I guess. You know, but at the end of the day, you're gonna keep the box anyway. So I mean, if it's gonna lower the cost, then why not? But it's not like that Thor is worth $180. You know what I mean? So they didn't put enough effort into it. And we'll go on with the accessories. There's a bunch of accessories here. As you can see, there's a bunch of hands, two trigger finger hands, you know, because he wielded two handguns on the movie. He also have this kind of gripping hand. This is mostly for his rifle, so you can get his foregrip. And he has an open palm hands and fisted hands, you know, obviously for punching and all that stuff. Now, as far as the character Deadpool, I don't know much about the character. I only knew him from the movie. So you can see he got his two Glocks and with a bunch of magazines as well. Well, Will Smith seems to get a hot and cold reception from fans, you know, because at one end you can classify Will Smith as Nicolas Cage acting wise. They don't really portray the role. Let's say the character becomes Will Smith all of a sudden. But you know what? He has so many memorable movies when I was younger, so I don't really mind. You know, I'm not looking for an Oscar-worthy performance in a comic book inspired movie. However, you know, with the exception of Dark Knight, you know, that's excellent. But as far as this, you know, overall I'm okay with him playing the part. You know, he has some nice background when it comes to handling guns, I guess, from his previous movies, and you know, I think he played the part, you know, as well as you could expect. Margot obviously hit it right out of the park, but Will Smith, I don't really mind him at all. You know, people like to make fun of him the same way they do with Nicolas Cage, and it's okay. You know, I'm not a huge fan. I don't mind him as well. As you can see here, this is his signature gun, same color as his, I guess, his rifle. And it also has nice engraving. You can see the weathering. Looks like it's been used before and it's worn down. There's some carvings on this handgun as well. There's a lot of nice details when it comes to this figure, and there's a bunch of them. And you're gonna have fun. You know, just wondering about the small little details. This looks like a Glock, a modified Glock with a sight on it. Nev, I believe. You know, didn't really research what it's for. You can see the sight right there, kind of like the Romeo 1. The carvings, beautiful. You know, I don't know, I'm not even sure if that's a silencer or a compensator. I don't know. I haven't really checked. I'm assuming this is a Glock 18 or 19. I don't know, but it does look like a Glock to me. Nice textured foregrip. Beautiful. And then you can see the gold trimming by the mag. He got 4 extra mags to put on his front belt. As you can see there, the crimson red, I guess I gotta call it crimson red now. And from the looks of it, it has a it looks like a modified AR-15. It has a rail underneath with a grip, you know, and then it's not even a 3-point sling, it's just a sling on the side. It looks like it has two it's a modified stock that also extends and retracts. It looks like an ACOG, you know, and some sight right there. It has rail on the top as well, so if you want to put any more accessories, you could, I guess. There you go. The sling is nice as well. It actually does work. I'm not quite sure Oh, there's the cover from the chamber. There you go. Nice looking gun, and it has a lot of details as well. As you can see, I am the light. It's written on his shirt as well. The way. I'm not exactly sure what it means. And you can see his symbol right there. A pretty nice looking gun. I remember I had one gun that splits the upper and lower receiver. I believe it's in Expendables Barney Ross, and I wish we had the same set, but you know, it just kind of adds to the realism, especially for somebody who owns guns like myself. You know, you kind of giggles when you see something like that converted into a 1/6 scale. You can see he has a knife that goes on his boot, and his molecule. Pretty nice looking here. You know, it's there's a transparent red. I guess they simulated it as well as they could. I know in the movie it kind of like lights up and all that stuff, which I fully don't expect that in this small accessory. But I think I watched some review. I forgot what his name is, and I totally agree with him. The second head sculpt should have been lighted up. You know, there's no reason for it. I believe it's Mr. Transformers or something like that. And I do agree with that sentiment, that I think the second head sculpt should have been lightened up. Now we're going into the exclusive edition accessory. So now if you buy the regular version, you're not going to get this, but honestly, you're not missing much. He does come with this handcuffs, which opens up and folds up. So this is technically not his. This is Batman's accessory. So I'm not... You know, I don't get it why he does have it, but I get the scene, and I'm still glad that it was included, because especially if you have the Batman versus Superman Batman, no, not the Suicide Squad Batman, because it will be redundant because he already has the rebreather. This one's a pretty cool piece, by the way. This rebreather is a pretty cool piece. It's a lot bigger than I thought it would be. It's a lot bigger than his normal mouth plates. Also has a lot of texture in it. Nice texture. And you can see right here, we'll take a closer look. There's a carbon fiber. It looks like, you know, painted like carbon fiber on the side. Looks like a metallic finish on the front. Kind of, you know, weathered as well. So really nice details when it comes to this rebreather. This piece, this exclusive piece. This is not exclusive, but you know, I forgot it on the main part. A stop sign with, it looks like tire tracks in it, and it's also die cast. As you can see here, it's a bit bent, but don't worry, it's made that way. Looks like it's been run over, so that's why it's kind of bent. And like I mentioned, even with Harley Quinn, I like this little accessories like this. You know, it kind of adds overall to the value. And of course the head sculpt, the extra head sculpt that comes with the figure. Now we're going to his base, pretty much the same base that follows the entire Suicide Squad theme. Squarish base. You can see the stop sign right here. So according to the manual, you're just supposed to put the stop sign, you know, somewhere, so it would look, you know, just standing there. Just like I said, it's like a diorama piece. But the good thing too is that he comes with this backdrop, this nice looking backdrop that it doesn't fit the D12 as always, you know, if you've seen my 2 previous Suicide Squad reviews, but it's a nice accessory. You know, you got this Deadshot image with 2 handguns, and it looks like art graffiti and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. You know, like I said, it follows the theme of the Suicide Squad, which is pretty nice as well. I should have, you know, taken this stand pole so you guys can see it fully. And as far as the figure itself, the character, the movie, like you know, I mentioned it in the 2 previous reviews, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if you haven't seen it, you know, please go ahead and check it out. The figures are great. You know, this is a good figure for $244. You got 2 head sculpt, tons of accessories, and his overall design, you know, that draws me. I like figures with guns. You know, it just resonates with the whole action figure genre. I like G.I. Joe growing up, and him having all these. You know, at first I wasn't a big fan of the costume, because I was like, this looks like an Under Armour undershirt, and it looks like a football paddings. And apparently, according to David Ayer, which is the director, he wants it to be, I guess, realistic. He doesn't want him having this, like, I don't know, like weird armor type of thing. He said that he wants you to go to a sports shop or any costume shop and be able to formulate, what he is wearing, because it's doable. And I guess that kind of what draws me into DC. I mean, it's to me at first it wasn't aesthetically pleasing costume, but even on his forearm, as you can see here, I am the light, the way. These are two slides of Glocks that is working. Like it. I guess when you press it, it actually fires bullets. Now I don't know how you're gonna chamber those bullets, or I know there's like a button that you press out there. But I guess it made sense outside of Killer Croc, obviously, but you can only do so much with that. But yeah, his overall costume is non-restrictive outside of the chest plate. Look at that, he got this, it looks like an Oakley combat boots, like for special ops. But like I said, overall, all of his accessories can be put in his body, and to me that's a big plus. There's nothing is left inside the box. All of his magazines are with him. All the guns are holstered. The knife is. You can see that it's sheeted in his boots. All the magazines either on his leg or on his like front belt. You can see the back. It's also holstered right there. His dual handguns, 2 Glocks. He even has that clip, which is pretty cool. This one is his armor. It's a bit annoying because when you see the head sculpt, it looks like, and I know it's a big concern for all of the collectors. It looks like it doesn't have a neck, but it actually does. It's a pretty strong head sculpt as well. But this guy right here, because it's made out of hard plastic, his armor, it keeps on, the shoulder pads keeps on going up, so it even further creates more illusion that he doesn't have a neck, which is unfortunate because this is a really great figure. So regardless of, like I said, I keep on saying this, regardless of what you think about the movie or Will Smith, or he doesn't portray the character well, as a figure, as a Hot Toys figure, as a 1/6 figure, I think it's pretty good. The value that you're getting is there. Now whether he really annoys you or not, I can't really say anything to that because it's your personal affinity with him. But as far as like putting all the accessories, because once you put all the accessories to him, he looks loaded. Once you get him at first, and that's, I guess, a big part of the experience for like putting him together, putting all the guns, the shoulder pads right there. You can see his dual guns on his hand. That's pretty cool. I am the light, the way. And yeah, pretty strong figure. Look at all the texture. One thing that's annoying too is that on his gauntlet, his hands are hard, sort of similar to Harley Quinn. Unlike the Joker, the purple coat Joker, purple coat Joker has soft hands, so it's easy to switch hands for different poses. This guy, I guess one of the complaints that I have as well is the gauntlet, because it's in hard plastic, so it's a bit more of a task to change hands because it always hits the hand, but not as bad as Deadpool, where it's like hitting the peg. But overall, like I said, even his knee pads doesn't hinder any of his articulation, only the chest armor. Head sculpt, just stare at it. That's all I gotta say. Just look at that head sculpt right there. If you tell me that it isn't Will Smith, then you're blind. Even Stevie Wonder can see this is Will Smith. The only complaint I have is the beard. His jawline looks a bit squarish. It's not that he doesn't have neck, because I think it's a perfectly good size head sculpt, but I think the body gives him the illusion that he doesn't because of the armor. As you can see there, that it's already pushed up. So you can see that the shoulder armor is in line with the top of his collar, which give him the illusion that he's hunching, which he isn't. So it's not, I guess, the sharpest look that you can give to the figure. But with that being said, this head sculpt is great. It's sharp. It's so strong. It's not a soft paint app. Yeah, it might have a squarish jaw, but overall, if you're kit bashing, any Will Smith figure, man, this is the head sculpt to get. And we'll play around with the different types of lighting, and regardless of there's figures where it only looks like them on certain angles, when you light them up. So you can see here, top light, side light on the right, side light on the left. It is Will Smith. Without lights, it doesn't matter. You can clearly see Will Smith in this portrait, and we'll take a closer look. I just want to use my macro lens that I just bought. I just want to give a reason for it to come closer. I guess you can see there's a seam on the head. You didn't see it. It's on the previous video, but it's so subtle that you can almost forgive how. Of course, there's going to be a seam on the head, but compared to 3.0, they really do a great job on concealing it. Unless you really nitpick on it, but it's not a big issue for me. I just want to point that out. But you can see this head sculpt right here. It's like Will Smith staring to your soul. Amazing. And here, this is how he looks like with his monocule, which is I didn't see that on the warning label, where don't leave it there for too long, otherwise it would stain the figure. Which I believe them, but it hasn't happened to my Catwoman. My Catwoman has this, has the mask put on her. I left it there for years now. I think it's been 4 years since I had that Catwoman, and no staining yet, but not betting my money on it. Every once in a while I move it around, but by every once in a while I mean maybe every 6 months or so. And as you can see, there's a lot of details in this monocule as well. So it's not like just a piece of plastic. Although, however, I might say this though. Once you're putting this on, you would start with the ear. It kind of like snaps itself into place when you're putting it, but it's fragile. It's like a very thin plastic, so I would be really careful if I were you when I'm putting this on. Okay, and off. So the second head sculpt, which is also a thing of beauty, the mask head sculpt. The only complaint I have with this one, I'll get it out of the way. I wish it has lights. That his monocule should have lights on this one, because it's a separate head sculpt. You have the chance to put the batteries on and off, but it doesn't, which is unfortunate. But with that being said, it's a really nice head sculpt as well. So if you hate Will Smith and you just don't want to see him, I would say this is the way to go. I mean, look at this head sculpt right here. You can get this and just put it on, and now you have a Deadshot. You don't have to look at Will Smith or whatever. But look at that. There's some, like, I don't know if that exists. Those brown thingies on his neck. I don't know if that's mine. I didn't eat chocolates before holding this. So hit me up in the comments below if you guys have Deadshot and it looks like that. Because I don't know. Maybe I should ask for a replacement if that's not supposed to be there. But maybe it's a weathering effect. But kind of like an odd weathering effect, not having the other part of his mask as well. But you can see the texture and whatnot. It's really awesome as far as what they did with his head sculpt. And also you can see the eye. It's like Will Smith out there. But yeah, that's a little odd when this is fresh out of the box whenever I do this. Yeah, you can clearly see it right there. It looks like brownish on his neck part, which is, I don't know, maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But it's just weird. Maybe it's dirt. Yeah, maybe that's the weathering effect right there. But yeah, you can see the texture of the mask, the different patterns. You can see the stitches on his mask. It's awesome. Now let's take a closer look so I can show you guys the nice fine details of this figure. See the monocule right there. It's not the, I guess, the most sophisticated way of paint app, but as far as the mask, you can see the stitching, see his eye right there, you can see the holes on his mouth. It gives you the feeling that it's really fabric, but it's not. That's like a woven fabric, but it's just the texture of the actual rubber or plastic that it does have. But it looks like it kind of reminds me of Storm Shadow from the GI Joe Hot Toys one, where when you're looking at it, it looks like it's a plastic covered in a fabric that's really tight, but that's how good they are. That's why they're Hot Toys, and that's why they charge $244 for an action figure. You see the texture on his head. Yeah, I gotta research that neck part right there, but maybe it is just like that. I don't know. See it right there. Nicely done. Let's see on his neck. Yeah, that's kind of odd as well. Even the color of the thing doesn't continue down to his neck area, where that's supposed to be just one mask. And I get it, like it's two separate pieces, but it's just odd that it's like a different tone of blue. And before we wrap this thing up, I'll put him in a few poses, and we'll finish this up. It looks like he's firing both of his gauntlet guns in here, so that's the look I'm trying to go for. We'll rotate him. Was there a scene like this? Maybe there was, outside of the cut and run scene, where there's a bunch of aliens, I guess, that's trying to get him in the first big fight of the movie. I know he busted out both of his guns, and it was a fantastic scene as well. Here, there's a good use of the fisted hands, make him look more to whatever he's shooting. I could use the Chitauris for that too. So I got the dual Chitauris. That's the good thing about those Chitauris. They're dirt cheap. I was trying to sell them before for mine, and no one would buy them. But in reality, they are good companions for, I guess, any movie that has aliens on it, because they can just fit in well. They're just this universal bad guys, I guess, so to speak, when it comes to aliens, because they just look badass anyway. Plus, they're dirt cheap. You can get them now for, if you go on eBay, you can probably snag one for $100, maybe more, maybe $120. But sometimes they go down. They go for cheap, like $90 shipped. So, and it's Hot Toys, so and I was trying to sell them, but no one's buying them. But they also come with nice accessories as well. If you haven't seen my review, go ahead and check it out. It's a worthy addition, depending on the price, because Hot Toys was crazy when they released that figure. I think they were asking $400 for the 2-pack. For the they lost their damn minds. But even with the Stormtroopers, I mean, they're just greedy. And dual wielding guns right here. And that's a pretty cool pose. It's like a signature. That's the one thing too, is that you're gonna have a hard time pulling the shoulder up. Maybe you could if I extended a little bit more, like a straight shoulder where you're actually shooting, because this one is a little bit lower than I wanted it to be. But I don't want to put too much stress on the figure, especially I just got this, and the paddings on the shoulders kind of rub off each other, so it makes me kind of get scared, I guess, is the right word to fiddle around with his figure. But yeah, I mean, you can pull off some good poses still, there's really minimal hindrance when it comes to posing him. Obviously the waist area is a problem, but you can kind of go around with it by just using your imagination, putting him in some dynamic poses, which is still possible. And I love the fact that the fabric that they use doesn't look like you need to be concerned if you leave him in a pose for so long. And kind of like this pose where he's shooting somebody up, and hey, there's two sights on this figure. Okay, so I didn't make him look into the ACOG one, so he's just using the red dot sight. He's aiming up. He's aiming at Batman. Some Batman's flying or wandering around the city. So yeah, and then be careful when you have him hold that what do you call that? That handle on his the foregrip on his rifle, because it's really fragile. It's the rail, I think, is held together by Loctite, maybe less than Loctite. So if you move him around in this pose, you're gonna snap it off. Didn't happen to me, but I've seen some of my friends have done that. So be careful. Always move it with caution. One technique I guess that I can give you is put it on the hand first, and then insert the hand on the arm, on the figure itself. So you kind of, what I'm trying to say is that every time that, because most of us will put the hands on the figure and then put the gun. What I do is put the hands on the gun and then put the hands on the figure, if that makes sense. I don't know. I don't make sense, so don't listen to me. So as far as height comparison, as you can see there, I'm using the same stand for everyone. And this is not the Suicide Squad Batman. This is the Batman versus Superman Batman. And it looks like Deadshot is in good scale with Harley Quinn. However, Batman's just beastly, man. He's just towering over everyone. Every single one of my figure. Which I don't mind. As you can see him, I also made Batman wear that. Harley Quinn is just gold. I also made Batman wear that breather. Because why not, right? He looks pretty cool with it. It looks like going swimming. Hey, that's why you get the special edition for. And I just want you to have a closer look with the Suicide Squad Batman if you have them, with the rebreather. Like I said, if you don't have a Batman versus Superman Batman, don't even bother with the special edition. Honestly, you just get a handcuff in this, and then you don't have a Batman, so this would be practically useless. But don't worry, even if you miss this Batman, because guess what? There's going to be like 7 more. There's going to be Justice League, his own movie. Nowadays, if you miss a figure from Marvel or DC, you don't need to worry. It's not like it's a Nolan verse where it's just 3 and out. No, you're good. You'll be fine. And there it is, guys. Deadshot from Suicide Squad. I would highly recommend this figure. Regardless of what you think about the movie, actually, I highly recommend all the 3 figures. If you have the funds, Harley Quinn, him, and Joker. He's not the most iconic character. If you've got to choose between the 3, I would go with Harley Quinn. I think Harley Quinn is iconic enough and the best figure out of the 3. If we're talking about the character that she played in the movie, she is basically the movie. The likeness is great, and the accessory is also fantastic. Now, value-wise, of course, he comes with 2 Headsculpt. Comes with far more accessories than Harley Quinn. However, the character is a little bit less than Harley Quinn because Harley Quinn is more popular than him. So if you're not a completionist, you just want to get one for a single movie, I would say Harley Quinn. But if you could afford all 3, I would say go for them, man. Purple Coat, him, and Harley Quinn. So thank you for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe to my videos, and follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll see you in the next review.